The Master Mev. Chapter 15. Marked Filly Curiosity. Wednesday night, both Applebloom and Sweetie Belle found themselves separately curious about what their sisters were doing and if the rumored Master Mev would arrive for an exchange. She did not. During the day on Thursday, the Crusaders wanted to talk about Mevs again, but couldn't think of a good reason to do so. Admitting to wanting to see a live exchange hardly seemed worth mentioning, and there was otherwise nothing new to report. Applebloom could not work up the nerve to ask Applejack her title, given that the older sister Earth Pony went on as if nothing happened. Applebloom thought maybe waiting for Rainbow to appear would make it easier to ask. Thursday night, Sweetie Belle stayed close to Rarity while the older unicorn worked. The shop itself was closed when there was a knock at the door. "I'll get it," Sweetie Belle offered, and galloped her way to answer, meeting the sight of Rainbow Dash. She smiled excitedly. "Master Rainbow Dash!" she greeted with a tiny hop where she stood. She felt a pulse of power in her heart that she recognized as Rarity's meaning of the word's power. Rainbow closed her eyes with a small smile and bowed her head politely. "Miss Sweetie Belle?" Sweetie Belle blinked and continued smiling. "Are you here for the... you know?" "Sweetie, don't keep Master waiting at the door," Rarity soon followed and ordered. "Oh, right, so sorry." The younger unicorn moved out of the way. Rainbow Dash walked in easily enough. "So, are you?" Sweetie Belle asked, hoping the Master Mev remembered her question. "Yes, I am here for my flex change with Matria," Rainbow said with a friendly wink, recalling Rarity mentioned she gave her title away and her sister's keen curiosity about it. "Can I watch?" Sweetie Belle hoped aloud. "Oh, sweetie, please," Rarity uttered, embarrassed. "Most certainly not." "Why not?" the filly wanted to know. "It's a rather intimate affair, dear," Rarity told her. "Master?" Sweetie Belle turned to the other Mev. "Rarity's right," Rainbow agreed. "It won't take long." "Can I at least see the fangs, please? Scootaloo said you showed her." The young unicorn managed to catch glimpses of the teeth in question while Rainbow talked, but she hoped for a better, closer look. Pleased to have a child so interested, and wanting to make up for denying her, Rainbow Dash offered with a smirk, "You want to see the whole form?" Sweetie Belle was very much appeased at this prospect, as she asked, "You'll show me?" "Master, I'm not sure that's such a good idea," Rarity warned. "You do remember what happened the last time children saw that?" "You've shown other kids?" Sweetie Belle asked. "Hey, maybe she'd like to meet Blitz if I give her fair warning." Rainbow Dash brightened at the thought of sharing her pet's existence with someone possibly willing to see her. I would. Who's Blitz, huh?" The filly grew ever more eager. "Not even I have had the honor," Rarity informed her little sister. "Very well," she relented. "But you really are going to have to explain it first. We don't want to frighten her." "I'm not scared," Sweetie Belle stated. "Yes, well, just... I'll let Rainbow explain, of course," Rarity said. "Blitz is my Leviathan dread," Rainbow Dash told Sweetie Belle. "She can help me trap other creatures and allow me to feed off their fear." "You can do that?" Sweetie sounded impressed. "That does sound kind of scary. Leviathans are giant sea serpents, right?" "That's how it usually is, but Blitz can be big or small. She makes herself the proper size to be, all depending on what her master wants. We try to scare who we trap. For what it's worth, that's all we do. I can't actually bite kids. And you can say Master any time to break out, though I'll try summoning her without trapping you. Something I need to work on anyway. So, you want to see her? Get the full experience of me revealing my vampire self?" Rainbow offered. "Yes." Sweetie hopped in place, excited by the prospect. You go stand over there. Rainbow pointed toward the widest open space she could see on the boutique floor. Matria, guard the door. In and out. Yes, master? The fledgling Mev obeyed with ease. We're going to do this vampire form first, then the salmon, Rainbow explained, and then silently retracted her fangs from within her muzzle. Ready, Master Rainbow Dash? Sweetie said with a huge grin, while closing her eyes excitedly, before opening them to wait and watch the scene unfold. Very well, let's do this, Rainbow said. She stood a few feet in front of Sweetie Belle and flared out her feathered wings first, to show them turn into their bat-wing counterparts. Sweetie's mouth was already open as she gazed on in wonder. Next, Rainbow showed her eyes change color from magenta to red, adding some shimmer for effect towards the end of the transition. Then she smiled and gave a hiss, to show her fangs take shape, and for some extra nocturnal since she was showing off after all. Sweetie Belle took one timid step back, but still watched on in fascination. A red circle formed surrounding where Rainbow Dash stood. She stomped her right front hoof to the floor. Blitz! She called out. The Leviathan Dread peeked her head out from the circle. Make me look good, Rainbow said with a knowing smirk. Blitz's manner suggested a chuckle as she raised herself further out of the circle and slithered her way toward Rainbow's tail. She swirled around that tail, then through the Master Mev's rear legs, around her flank, and then her neck. Wrapped around her master, Blitz steadied her own head to Rainbow's right and faced the observing young white unicorn. Wow, Sweetie said, breathless. Rainbow's gaze shifted to Blitz as she nodded her head in Sweetie's direction. Say hello as nicely as you can manage, she instructed the Dread. Blitz obeyed and made for a wide circle around Sweetie Belle, before staring to meet the filly's eyes and give a small nod as her form of greeting. Hi, Sweetie Belle offered nervously, knowing to answer back. Rainbow Dash stepped forward, approaching Blitz and offering a hoof out. The Dread positioned herself just where the two would touch if she were solid. What are you doing? Sweetie asked, still nervous and still fascinated. This is how I can pet her. When we touch right here, right where our essences meet, and only at the point where they meet, I feel this iciness going through my veins. I know that she feels me too. If I aim too far, Rainbow demonstrated and showed her hoof passing into the air. I go right through her. She returned to her earlier mock touch placement. Want to try it? It is literally chilling. Can I really? Sweetie Belle looked over to Rarity, who was watching the entire scene unfold with her own fascination. The older unicorn wore a small, proud smile for two ponies she cared so deeply about to bond this way. The fledgling Mev nodded. Sweetie Belle tried it. She shivered and gasped, stepping back 3 steps. She gulped, gathered her strength, and tried again, managing to stay longer. This is incredible, she said with a smile. Rainbow Dash nodded. I couldn't agree more, Miss Sweetie Belle. You have made this night very special for me. Thank you. Oh, Master Rainbow Dash, it's my pleasure. Sweetie Belle was sincerely honored. Can I see your vampire form again when you come over for more flex changes? And Blitz? The unicorn filly pleaded. It might be old to you after this first time, but whether it is or not, I would be more than happy to let loose this part of myself in the future, if time and work allow. Speaking of which, it is high time I tended to my matria. Blitz! This time, Rainbow nodded in Rarity's direction. The sea serpent approached the other Mev. Oh, hello, Rarity said. A pleasure to meet you in essence, Blitz. The Dread nodded and circled in a friendly manner. Rainbow, can I stay with Blitz during your flex change tonight? Sweetie Belle asked. Rainbow Dash looked at Blitz, who nodded in acceptance of the young unicorn's proposal. Come on, Rare, let's go, the Master Mev said. Tonight's going to be delicious. The following afternoon, Sweetie Belle relayed her experience to Scootaloo and Applebloom in the clubhouse. "Weren't you scared?" Applebloom asked. I really was," Sweetie admitted. Even knowing both Rarity and Rainbow were there, and that they weren't going to do anything, I also knew that the fear was supposed to be there, and that I'd be okay. Blitz is actually kinda nice, for a snake whose purpose is to inflict fear, and serve a vampire master anyway.
That is so weird,
Scootaloo remarked.
I guess it helps that Rainbow's not actually an evil vampire master.
Did Rainbow tell you more about who's in the pack and their titles? Applebloom asked. No, she left after the flex change. I didn't get a chance to ask, but she's totally cool with being her vampire self around me for future flex changes, if everything else works out that way. We can both get pretty busy. Rarity too, for that matter. Sweetie Belle answered.
And Rarity didn't mind any of this one bit?
Scootaloo wondered. No. My sister loved seeing me bond with her master. And it's totally true about calling her that, by the way. Rainbow starts off all polite. She'll bow and call you by a title too. Then just sort of be nice, trying to do things that make you both happy. At least, that's how it was with me. Maybe because we're already friends through my sister. Applebloom took note and said, I don't think I could bring myself to watch if Applejack's flex changes tonight. Well, the full transformation in Dread, that is. I kind of want to see the actual thing where they bite each other. That is totally off limits, Sweetie Belle warned, with her air of authority on the subject. Both Rarity and Rainbow said I couldn't watch. It's kind of how I got to see everything else instead, which might have been better anyway. I know, but doesn't having it be forbidden make you want to see it that much more? Applebloom admitted with an interested smile. Sweetie Belle giggled. Definitely, but I'm happy with what I got instead, and now I'd be scared that Blitz would come out and do something if I tried. I am too, now that you put that idea in my head, Applebloom realized. But I still want to know what day is Applejack's turn. All I figured out is it's not on Wednesday or Thursday. She went to Fluttershy's this morning for something, but no mention of Rainbow or any special plans for tonight. That's funny, Sweetie remarked. Rarity went to Fluttershy's cottage yesterday during the day. She must really need help with her animals. Maybe one of the bigger ones that needs more attention is sick, like that bear. They all shrugged before Scootaloo went back to the topic at hoof.
If Applejack's turn wasn't yesterday or the day before, that gives you 5 more days to figure it out. Or maybe I can squeeze in a chance to ask Rainbow Dash tomorrow.
I might already know by then if it's tonight, Applebloom reminded her friend. But I guess there's no harm in us both knowing. I won't be able to tell you before you see Rainbow then, since we'll both be busy. Friday night arrived at Sweet Apple Acres. Granny Smith turned in early, as she was prone to do. Big Mac tended to chores outside. Applebloom stayed by Applejack's side, while the older Earth Pony tended to the kitchen for tidying, cleaning, and baking food. The top half of the door to the kitchen remained open, which was common enough, albeit a little late by Apple family standards. Boo, a friendly voice said. Her blue face, rainbow mane, and magenta eyes hung upside down as her head peeked out from the top of the door. She grinned with her nocturnal fangs. Master Rainbow Dash! Applebloom scurried to approach her. Rainbow hovered herself into a right-side-up position and politely nodded her head down in a bow, making a gesture with her forelimbs for the bow as well, as she said, Miss Applebloom, I see another Crusader has taken to trying my title. Not that I mind.
Get in here, Rainbow,
Applejack advised.
Big Mac's still outside.
Aye, aye, Fira. Rainbow gave a friendly salute and flew inside. Is Fira your title? Applebloom wandered closer to her older sister to ask.
Yes, but that don't mean I get to spout fire or nothing,
The Earth Pony Mev noted. It could happen, Rainbow Dash noted with a casual shrug. But not for a while. Gotta build up our bond and reserve. Speaking of which...
Right. Applebloom, stay here. Rainbow and I need to do our thing in private. We'll be back real soon.
Applejack made her instructions and intentions clear. The young red-maned filly carefully watched her older sister walk upstairs while the flying master casually accompanied her. Apple Bloom stayed put, as asked, and trained her ears real hard to listen from where she stood. She heard a scuffling of hooves on the wooden floorboards above, and then, for a while, nothing, until finally, ever so faintly, somebody whispered something. In her head, Apple Bloom guessed it was Rainbow Dash saying, "Thank you, Fira." And she wasn't wrong. The two grown mares came downstairs not long after, and Rainbow waved goodbye before flying away. While the night was uneventful compared to what Sweetie Belle witnessed the night before, Apple Bloom was perfectly okay with that. Learning her sister's title answered the main Mev question on her mind, and it was enough for the time being.